Welcome to part 2. In this section, we'll explore the 4 conversion activators. As we saw in part 1, the 4 conversion activators are the elements that help us achieve substantial conversion rates. Each one of them is rooted in the psychology of persuasion, and they work sequentially. The 4 elements are attention, benefits, facts, and the offer. From now on, let's refer to these as the 4 conversion activators, or APFO in short. So the APFO framework is similar to the well-known AIDA acronym, which is famous among salespeople. AIDA is also a template of persuasion, and it stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. The APFO framework makes a crucial modification though. We combine interest and desires under benefits, as benefits generate both the interest and desire needed to spark a conversion. Another key modification lies in the inclusion of facts. The AIDA formula omits the need for factual information, but we know that from a psychology standpoint, a conversion should satisfy both emotion and logic. By including facts, we cater to the rational part of the buying decision. I've replaced the last A in AIDA, which stands for action, with an O, which means offer. A compelling offer will naturally trigger action. So now that I've introduced APFO, let me quickly state what is perhaps the most important part of this course. When working on optimizing your website to drive actions, don't think about your website itself. Stop that right now. You need to think about who's on your website from now on. Do not think about websites. Think about people. I've got a quick question for you. This will make more sense later on, but who's more likely to say yes to a marriage proposal? Someone who you've been dating for 10 years, or a guy or girl who you just cold approach on the street? I want you to think about the answer, and most importantly, why am I even asking this question when we're talking about conversion rates? The answer is quite simple. If you want your website to be successful at selling, you must know your target stage of awareness. That simply means where they are in their customer journey, how acquainted they are with 1, the problem your product will solve or the desire it will fulfill, and 2, how acquainted they are with your brand as the solution. So, the basis of any conversion strategy is knowing your customer's stage of awareness. Let's go back to the marriage example. Cold traffic would be a stranger on the street. If you approach someone on the street and ask them to marry you, it's very unlikely that they will say yes. Why? Because they don't know you. However, they might consider going on a date with you if you're persuasive enough. Warm traffic. Now, someone who just went on a first date with you will probably hesitate to marry you at this stage. However, they're more likely to say yes to your proposal than the stranger on the street. Hot traffic. 1 year together. Now, your 1-year partner is significantly more likely to say yes than the person who just went on a first date with you. And after 5 years together, it should be easy to get that yes, if you've behaved obviously. Anyway, what I'm trying to explain here is that the deeper the level of awareness, the higher the likelihood of someone accepting your proposal. This works the same way when you're advertising your products or services online and you want people to say yes, be it a sell, a download, or something as simple as just giving you their email address. So how does this correlate to CRO? Well, you already know from part 1 that your website is a tool to convey your value proposition to your prospect. So offering the same thing to everyone without regard to their level of awareness is a highly ineffective strategy. And optimizing your page for the same people is equally as useless. This is where classic CRO fails. You persuade people differently based on their stage of awareness. Don't think about what's on your website, think about who's on your website and what you should say in order to persuade them. This is the most foundational hack about CRO, and if you learn one thing from this course, let it be that one. Someone who bought from you once is extremely different from someone who just became aware of your existence as a brand. I will go ahead and introduce the stages of awareness. So, we have 4 main stages of awareness. This is also known as traffic or funnel stage. Top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, etc. Some people have different definitions for this. However, each stage of the funnel should have a different conversion strategy if you want to maximize your results. I'll explain each of the stages of awareness in detail. Cold traffic. These are the strangers on the street. They've never heard of your brand. Sometimes they're even not aware of the problem that they have. These prospects rarely respond to promotions such as 20% off and so on because they don't even know the value of your product. Warm traffic is basically the same as cold traffic, but they have probably seen an ad or two. Maybe they remember it. Maybe they sign up for your email list or followed you on social media. Most likely, they're more problem aware than cold traffic. But don't get too excited, because the same principles of cold traffic conversion apply. They really don't care too much about you yet. Hot traffic is traffic that has already bought something from you. They already converted once. If they didn't give you money yet, then they're still warm. They're not hot traffic. Except for software as a service. If they downloaded your app or signed up for an account, you can consider them hot traffic because of the market dynamics, where free trials are the name of the game. Smoking hot traffic has bought from you multiple times. These are your high lifetime value customers. Since most online ads are intended to acquire customers, I will teach you how to convert cold traffic. Cold traffic is the backbone of any business. The ability to scale your business from 0 to 7, 8, and 9 figures and beyond will depend on your ability to acquire customers at a profit. Cold traffic is definitely the hardest form of traffic to convert, but we will get this down to a science by following the 4 conversion activators. Once you master the art of converting cold traffic, growing your business becomes 10 times easier and a smooth, fun endeavor. This course is called Double Your Conversion Rate, but it might as well be called How to Acquire Cold Traffic Without Going Bankrupt. That is the importance of learning how to acquire cold traffic. Here's a summary of what we've seen in this section so far. First, the most effective tool to convert new customers is through a landing page that follows the 4 conversion activators, ABFO. It's a landing page that gets attention, provides benefits, provides facts, and makes an irresistible offer. Second, to boost your conversion rate exponentially, you must focus on improving the 4 conversion activators. And third, understanding the stage of awareness of your traffic is what will determine what you have to say and what you have to offer in order to convert them. Over the next section, I'm going to teach you how to implement each of the 4 conversion activators in your website. Attention is the first element. Let's get right to it. Here's a quote by John Caples, one of the most famous copywriters of all time. Every headline has a job. It must stop your prospects with a believable promise. The headline is the most important part of any website. It's the first element that your prospect will read, and the headline alone will determine if your website is going to be ignored or not. So what is a headline anyway? All marketing mediums have headlines. In a video ad, it's the message and visual you show during the first 3 seconds. This is also known as the hook. In radio, it's the first few words of an ad. In a letter, it's the first paragraph. Even a telephone call has a headline. It's the initial pitch. In your landing page, your headline is the big heading that sits above the fold of everything. The goal of your headline is to stop your prospect from whatever they were doing and convincing them that your page is worth reading. If the headline is not interesting, your prospect will not read your page. A good headline promises value, a strong benefit, and makes your prospect curious. Curiosity and benefits have the strongest stopping power. So your headline has 2 primary jobs: to stop your prospect with irresistible curiosity and promise value. To master conversion rate optimization, you must master the art of writing headlines. Now, let's explore some shortcuts to get you started. Just for your information, each of the conversion activators will be made out of several shortcuts. Shortcut 1. Before writing your headline, you need to understand the stages of awareness, which we saw in the previous section. Let's do a quick refresher. Cold traffic. Warm traffic. Hot traffic. Smoking hot traffic. Shortcut 2. Writing headlines for each stage of awareness. Here's a quick cheat sheet on how to write headlines for each step of traffic. For your headlines to be effective, they must address the prospects at their particular stage of awareness. For cold and warm traffic, your goal is to arouse curiosity and promise an irresistible benefit. Examples: how to win friends and influence people. This new meal replacement method from France lets you cheat every day and still lose weight. Skin Ingredients face cream gets rid of acne in 48 hours or your money back in full. Meet Spain's best kept culinary secret, Campo Grande, the Wagyu of pork. For hot traffic, focus on clear offers and less on curiosity. You can introduce new product, offer upgrades, upsell a subscription, or even offer a discount. For smoking hot traffic, aim to maximize your customer's lifetime value. But remember that we're focusing on acquiring customers, so let's disregard hot and smoking hot traffic. Those are quite easy anyway. Shortcut 3. The ultimate headline formula for cold traffic. In this section, I'm going to show you how to write effective headlines that are optimized for new customer acquisition. A killer headline has three main elements. 1. It selects your audience by speaking directly to them. 2. It arouses burning curiosity through news or shock value. And 3. It offers a spectacular benefit that addresses a burning desire, need, or want. In addition to the previous three elements, you can also include an exact time measurement, imply that the benefit of your product is attainable quickly and easily, and that your offer features some sort of risk reversal feature to further entice your prospects. Let's look at an example by John Carlton. Amazing secret discovered by one-leg golfer adds 50 yards to your drives, eliminates hooks and slices, and can slash up to 10 strokes from your game almost overnight. The word golfer selects the audience quickly. Amazing secret discovered by one-leg golfer. This is a shocking statement that provokes curiosity. People will want to read more. Adds 50 yards, eliminates hooks and slices, and can slash up to 10 strokes. These are spectacular benefits that any golfer would want. Time measurement, almost overnight. This also implies that it's a quick and easy benefit. The risk reversal mechanism is missing from the headline, but is featured prominently in the long-form ad. Before proceeding with the other examples, here's a warning for all holier-than-thou marketing agency people. Ew, that's so salesy and clickbaity. Well, that sort of thinking is not only silly, but dangerous. You're in the business of getting results in sales, not marketing awards or a Pulitzer Award. These headlines have generated millions of dollars, and they're effective at attracting the target audience and getting conversions. If that's not your goal, then I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, I hope I made a point here. Let's continue. Now, let's proceed with example number 2. This one's a little more advanced, but it can show you that headlines do not need to be incredibly direct. This is a headline I wrote for I1 Organics, a brand of organic snacks for kids. The word "dad" calls the attention of parents, our target market. The phrase, after discovering what was being marketed to his kids, makes parents curious. It makes them wonder, what am I feeding my kids? In this case, the benefit is not too direct, although the combination of "that creates company" and "after discovering what was being marketed to his kids" implies that this new alternative is much healthier, and that's your implied benefit. The time measurement is missing from this particular headline due to the nature of the product being sold, protein snacks. Eating a snack is already quick and easy. As you might have noticed, there's no risk reversal mechanism featured directly on the headline, but it was featured prominently in the offer. Love the taste of our snacks or your money back. Here's example number 3, a headline by advertising legend Eugene Schwartz. I'm going to leave it on their screen so you can review all the key elements. So now that you've seen the headline formula in action, I'm going to teach you a mental model that can help you write effective headlines. When crafting headlines, imagine that your websites consist of only your headline and a Buy Now button. Imagine that the headline alone has to close the sale. Ask yourself, what would make me buy this product right now without hesitation with only this information? While this might seem far-fetched, it can definitely get you in that killer mindset. Attention shortcut 4. Now, let's take a moment to put the formula into practice with a little exercise. Let's say that we need to write a headline for a new tax software marketed to accountants that can help them save thousands of dollars for their clients with one simple adjustment. Go ahead and try to write a headline using the formula. Stop the video and come back when you're done. Let's compare our results. Okay, let's proceed. I'm going to show you what I came up with step by step. Step 1 is selecting your audience. Selecting your audience can be as simple as calling them out. In this case, I just used the word accountant. Step 2. Arouse curiosity. Here's the list of words that you can use to call for attention by generating curiosity. These words have been used in advertising since advertising became a thing. Each and every one of them excel at generating curiosity. I picked how from the list. I'm going to pause the slide for a bit so you can take notes or make a screenshot. In step 3 of the formula, you must insert the most powerful benefit your product has to offer. You'll learn more about benefits in the upcoming chapter, Conversion Activator number 2. Since this software can save thousands of dollars, I inserted just that. I did not insert a feature. A feature is not a benefit. Anyways, you will learn more about this in Conversion Activator number 2. Step 4. Time measurement. Here, you can insert a time measurement if your product allows it. For example, in 5 days, in 1 hour, in just 1 minute per day. Or you can say something that implies quick benefits, such as 2 simple clicks, which is what I went for. Step 5. Quick and easy. As discussed in the previous step, if you can state a time measurement, meaning how long it will take for your prospects to see results, do it. Sometimes it's possible to imply that your product is a quick and easy solution with a time measurement or an action, as we did. This step is more indirect because you won't necessarily be writing the words quick and easy in your headline every time. Step 6. Risk reversal. If the headline looks good and you still have space, you can ask your risk reversal mechanism. This is what I did. I added, save your first $1,000 for free with no credit card details needed. Did you see how easy it is to build a curiosity-inducing headline using this formula? I'll show you the complete headline in the next slide. How accountants are saving their clients thousands of dollars in taxes with 2 simple clicks using this new software. This headline is definitely enough, but I decided to add a sub-headline to expand. Save your first $1,000 for free, no credit card details needed. Making a killer cold traffic headline is very simple when we have a replicable formula. You just need to let your creative juices flow, and I'm sure you'll come up with a few great headlines. Shortcut 5. Here are some additional tips you might find useful when writing headlines. First, once you write your headline, review and make sure that it contains all of the key elements in the formula. Does it select your audience? Can you insert a newsworthy or shocking message into your headline to drive curiosity? Does your headline address your prospect's self-interest by offering a benefit? Second, write as many headlines as you can. Third, avoid being overly creative or funny. Don't use puns. People do not buy from clowns. Fourth, take a break. After writing your headline, go and do something else and come back with a fresh perspective. You might even get a new genius headline idea. Fifth, ask your target market if they'd be interested in this headline you just wrote. If you sell to car mechanics, go to a shop and ask a mechanic. Don't ask your dentist. Always go straight to the source. And lastly, ask yourself if you would be interested to read a website with the headline you just wrote. This will save you from a lot of bad headlines. Shortcut 6. The hero image. The hero image is the main illustration on your website. It can either be a photo, a video, or a banner. The hero, along with the headline, provides the first glimpse into your website's value proposition. Think of it as a visual representation that helps your prospects understand exactly what they're getting with your product or service. Unlike with headlines, there are no magic formulas for a hero image. However, I do have some best practices and suggestions. Here are some hero image ideas. Your job would be to test as many as possible. Product and packaging. If you're selling consumer packaged goods, show your product and your packaging. You need to show the user exactly what they're getting. Before and after. If your product or service lends itself to a strong tangible result, feature it in your hero image. In the case of SaaS, I recommend testing the product in use and implying a benefit. For example, Kraken is a Bitcoin exchange. They show the app in use in a growing portfolio. If you're selling an intangible service such as invoicing software, I suggest testing a hero image that illustrates a potential gain. Wave sells accounting software. They show their interface and a successfully paid invoice. Appealing to your target demographic is also worth testing. Lululemon's target audience is affluent women in their 20s or 30s. They're not using car mechanics in their hero image. You get the idea. So now, we've reached the end of our first conversion activator, attention. Here's a quick action checklist to make sure that your website is effective at getting attention. See you in the second conversion activator. Welcome to the second conversion activator, benefits. In the previous section, we learned that the first step to close a conversion is getting your prospect's attention. However, getting attention alone will not cut it if what we're seeking is to persuade our prospects to take action. In order to be a good conversions engineer, you must learn how to get the correct type of attention. And this is as simple as identifying your prospects and offering them something that they really want. Converting prospects becomes extremely easy and straightforward when we offer the right products to the right audience. Once we figure out our target market and their motivations, we must position our product as the solution to their problem or the fulfillment of their need or desire. Here's a quote by Victor Schwab, another direct response giant. "The thing that people want to know above everything else is, what will your product do for me?" Keep that in mind. Here's one universal truth. People only buy or take action when they're 100% sure that they're getting some kind of benefit out of said action. That applies to mostly everything. Even an email sign-up, which might seem like a low investment, will be rooted in self-interest and the promise of a benefit. So, your task in the second conversion activator is to research and identify what your customers want so you can then position your product or service as the mechanism that will get them what they want. As we mentioned in the last slide, the reality of human motivation is that people primarily care about themselves. Even the most noble act of altruism is rooted in self-interest. Since self-interest is frowned upon socially, most of these innermost desires don't come out in focus groups, because they could seem selfish and that is socially unacceptable. However, these desires can be uncovered through more cost-effective and less time-consuming methods, which is great news for us conversion engineers. To be a successful conversions engineer or salesperson, you must understand the human condition and the core human desires that come with it. Attention is important, but we need to get the correct type of attention, one that is rooted in self-interest. So, in this section, I'll teach you how you can leverage a few psychological triggers to drive action. Here's another foundational principle. A successful conversion involves both emotion and rational agreement. Let's look at it this way. There's a theory that says that the left side of the brain is rational and the right side of the brain is emotional. In order to get action, you need to satisfy both sides of the brain. In step 2 of the 4 conversion activators, we're looking to satisfy the left side of the brain through powerful benefits. Here's a quick example of our left and right brain theory. Let's say that we need help with marketing strategy, and there's a famous marketing consultant pitching us his services. The right, emotional part of the brain would be extremely excited at the possibility of this consultant making us millions of dollars. This desire to make money is purely emotional and extremely persuasive. But here's the thing. Our rational left brain will not let us pull the trigger right away and hire the consultant before it's satisfied. Our rational left brain is what would push us to go out and get referrals, proof, case studies, and so on before making the final decision. Only after both sides of the brain are satisfied and in agreement, we will take the final decision and convert. So how do we satisfy the right, emotional side of the brain? Here's shortcut 1 of the second conversion activator. We can distill evolutionary psychology into 12 basic wants and needs. We will call them the core human desires from now on. These core human desires have a practical application in marketing without going too deep into psychological theories. So what do people want anyway? Here are the 12 core human desires. These desires are deeply rooted in human nature and they do not change, despite new trends or technological advancements. People will always want better health, more money, more time, beauty, admiration, self-improvement, comfort and luxury, status and social validation, superiority among peers, career advancement, enjoyment of food and beverage, and security. So how do we apply these desires to our conversion strategy? Let's take a look at some examples. Example number 1. A protein bar brand. A 20-year-old woman doesn't buy a particular brand of protein bar because it has 10 grams of protein and just 2 grams of net carbs. She buys it because this protein bar helps her improve her figure and she can be more attractive to Johnny from biology class. The underlying desires in this case could be beauty and better health. So, in your headline, instead of saying guilt-free snacking with 10 grams of protein, you would say something such as, these new post-workout protein bars help you tone up and burn fat at the same time. Of course, you can't do empty promises and must remain truthful at all times. What I'm trying to teach you is how to base your marketing message around benefits and your customer, not around features and your product. Example 2. Accounting software. A 48-year-old finance manager at a software company doesn't buy new accounting software because he likes the sleek, modern user interface. He buys it because this new accounting software will help him save thousands of dollars a year and get him to the VP promotion he's been waiting for the last 3 years. The underlying desires are self-fulfillment, career advancement, and more money. So, in your headline, instead of saying, the sleekest user interface ever made in accounting, you would say something such as, with just 2 clicks, you can produce jaw-dropping savings that the CFO will notice. Again, no empty promises, but the way in which you present your products should always appeal to the basic human desire that it is satisfying. So here's what you need to do to take advantage of the core human desires. 1. You need to identify the core desires that drive your target audience. 2. Rethink how you position your product. 3. Apply to your website and all of your marketing. Shortcut 2. In this section, I will teach you how to identify core human desires. Trust me when I say that they're hidden in plain sight. You just need to look for them. Here are the tools you'll use to find breakthrough consumer insights without spending a dime on focus groups or interviews. You'll use this checklist to spy on your customers. In the next slide, I'll show you a quick example on how to do this. Hey guys, in this section, I'm going to show you the research method that I use to find the core desires that make up the foundation of my landing pages. Don't worry, I will share this document with you so you can use it as a reference. Let's get right to it. Here are the tools that we'll be using. Before you ask, no, we won't be using AI. Personally, I do my research manually because if I want to be successful at marketing a product and building the best landing page possible, then I need to become an expert. So if I just feed all of this information to AI, then I will completely miss the point. So by doing this research manually, you can literally find golden nuggets that can make you millions of dollars. You don't want to miss out on those. Anyways, there are two main goals here. The first one is to find the main core desire from which you'll base your headline. And the second goal is to find as many secondary core desires as possible so you can justify the conversion on an emotional level, as we've seen in this section. The way that we find these desires is through research. So here are the main research tools that we'll be using. I divide them into three main categories. So the first one, Research Mind 1, is basically Google plus search term. Kind of obvious, right? But I'll teach you how you can use Google in a much more efficient manner. Research Mind 1 applies to mostly everything: software services, B2B, local services, and consumer goods. Then we have Research Mind 2, which is mainly based off Amazon, and that applies to consumer goods mainly. And then we have Research Mind 3, which is called Dig In Deeper. So this also applies to everything: software services, B2B, local services, and consumer goods. Anyway, let's get started with a practical exercise. So let's say that we have this new brand of vitamin gummies for kids called Star Juice, and we need to build a landing page for this. Okay, so let's define our product's core desires. The first one would be pretty obvious, which would be better health. Then the second one could be admiration. Well, let's say these vitamins are just the best of the best. No artificial anything. Parents want to be admired by other parents. This is a core benefit we can capitalize on. So then we have, related to admiration, social status. Let's say that the vitamins are expensive. Everyone wants to be accepted and admired by their peers. Enjoyment of food and beverage, because if the vitamins taste bad, then kids won't really take them. And we can also add in superiority as a core desire. Once we define these first core desires, then we know what we're looking for in our research. So let's proceed. By the way, you don't have to do this sequentially. Just do it however you prefer. Let's say that our first research tool is niche specific forums. Okay, so let's just go to Google. And let's say that we want to find a mommy forum. Mumsnet. Parenting forum. Okay, cool. This is interesting. So then what we do is site mumsnet.com and we look for kids vitamin gummies. Okay, so then we start finding some insight. So let's just read a bit and let's see if we find something interesting. Okay, here's a good one. Okay, so here's what I do. I just copy it here. Okay, here's one potential problem. This is called Mumsnet. Strong taste. Okay, Has a strong taste. Okay, let's just keep looking. Which vitamins do you give to your children? Okay, let's see. Anyway, you get the idea. It's very time consuming, but this is the difference between a landing page that can generate you millions of dollars and a generic landing page that you can get for, I don't know, $100 and it will fail. The nuggets that you can find here are just incredible. Anyway, let's just proceed with. Okay, so this one's good. Reddit. Reddit is the best because people just say whatever they're thinking because it's anonymous. So I think it's one, if not the best source of information in Research Mind 1. So let's see Reddit, site Reddit. So parenting. Here we have a new website that will plug into our Google. So let's just go to parenting, multivitamin gummies. Do you give your toddler a multivitamin? Okay, let's see what we find here. Did I just say anything? Okay, so he's picky. He's picky. So that's another Reddit. So he is picky. That's interesting insight. Interesting. I didn't know that growing fingernails quickly meant something, but they seem to care. So you can fend off sickness. Okay, this is a benefit. So do you see what I mean regarding using AI? You could just scrape all of the web and just, but what will you learn? So you need to become an expert at the product you're advertising. By advertising, I mean the product you're building a page for. Anyway, so just to not make this video 3 hours long, you get the idea. This is what you have to do. You have to search all of the sites I'm giving you here and just spend a few hours researching. I generally take, when I sign a client, I take 1 week or 2 weeks of research. So if you truly want to make a landing page that is transformational for your business, this is a step that you cannot skip. Anyway, so since we're in consumer goods, then we can just proceed to mine number 2, which would be Amazon. Okay, so let's see. Multivitamin for kids. Let's sort by bestsellers. By the way, you want to, when you're on Amazon, just look for the ones with the most reviews. In an ideal world, you would go to each and every one of them. I'm telling you, this will take a while, but it's non-negotiable if you want to build a landing page that converts at shocking levels. We want to check the reviews. So here's something I usually do. I start by the worst reviews. So then we can find how our product can solve a problem that's currently out there on the marketplace. Let me just pause it and do the research, spend the hours, and then come back to it. So I'll be right back. Anyways, guys, we're back. So I went through a bunch of reviews from Amazon and other sources, all of the sources that I list in the top of the document, and I found some interesting insights. So this is an extremely crowded market. So the messaging that we use in our headline and the curiosity and the main benefit that we will fulfill has to be fresh, has to be shocking. Studies show that 90% of kids aren't meeting the daily recommended intake of 2.5 cups of vegetables and 1.5 to 2 cups of fruit daily. This is something that is headline worthy. Anyways, guys, this is just an example. I just want to show you how you should be thinking in terms of filling your research document with relevant information so you can analyze what is the state of your prospect and your market. As long as you follow this document here, you will have no problems with this, and you'll be able to spot those core desires and even ideas that will tell you how you have to position your own product in order to be successful. Here's another quick hack that I use. It's a questionnaire to build consumer avatars. I send this questionnaire to every founder when I'm hired to build a new landing page or marketing funnel. If you're the owner, fill it yourself and read it. You'd be surprised at the amount of valuable information that can come out of such a simple exercise. We've now reached the end of the second conversion activator, benefits. Use this checklist to review the content, and please go ahead and download the quiz to reinforce your learning. See you in the next one. Welcome to step 3 of the 4 conversion activators, facts. Let's start off with another quote by David Ogilvy. You can see that I'm a fan by now, right? Anyway, here's the quote. The consumer isn't a moron. She is your wife. You insult her intelligence if you assume that a mere slogan and a few vapid adjectives will persuade her to buy anything. She wants all the information that you can give her. Truer words have never been spoken. Remember that a conversion is an agreement between the rational and the emotional parts of the brain. In the previous step, we learned how to satisfy the right emotional part of the brain by exploiting the core human desires. Now, in order to close the conversion, we need to address the rational side and satisfy that left brain. Welcome to the first shortcut of the third conversion activator. I will teach you how you can use facts to justify the conversion rational. First, let's answer these key questions. 1. What will the product do for your prospect? 2. How does your product work? 3. Why does it work? 4. Why is it better than the competition? The correct way to answer these questions is through the use of factual information. Here are the types of facts that you can use as proof element. Authority of the founder. Let's say that you're a doctor and you're selling a nutritional supplement. Social proof. Patents. Before and after demonstration. Formula. Technological innovation. Explain the underlying technological innovation that makes your product superior. Press features. Manufacturing advantages. Awards won. Free samples. Certifications by third parties. Construction materials. Grow in popularity. Retailer availability. Benefit delivery speed. Packaging advantages. Celebrity endorsement. Here's a more detailed version of the previous slide. I'm going to leave it on the screen so you can pause it and take a look. So how can you gather relevant facts? You need to get your hands on as much material as humanly possible. You should consult user manuals, technical documents, patents, customer service tickets, trade journals, wireframes, interviews with product builders, website reviews, Reddit, your own website, blueprints, manufacturer specification sheets, and the list goes on and on. Research is non-negotiable. I'm going to leave another quote by Ogilvy. Here's another questionnaire I use to get basic factual information about a new product or service when I sign a new client. If you're a business owner, you should complete it too. This questionnaire often reveals relevant facts and figures that can help you justify the conversion rational. We've reached the end of the third conversion activator, facts. You might be wondering how you can apply this to your website, but for now, all you need to know is the importance of having as much factual information about your product as humanly possible. Facts are going to prove the benefits identified on the second conversion activators, benefits. Conversion activators 2 and 3 work together to maximize persuasion. I will teach you how to put this step into action in part 3 of the course, so don't worry, we'll get there. See you in the next conversion activator. Welcome to the last conversion activator, the offer. Your offer is by far the most important element in your entire website and customer acquisition strategy. In fact, you could have the first 3 conversion activators nailed to a T, but if the 4th conversion activator is weak, then you won't be able to convert anyone. Let's open this section with a quote by Gary Halbert, one of the best direct response copywriters who ever lived. If you give me X amount of dollars, I'll give you X product or service in return. So, your offer is simply the value that you'll give to your prospects through your product and service, and thus the offer is the cornerstone of any business. In Shortcut 1, we'll define what an offer actually is. Many people assume that an offer is simply a discount on the product or service they're selling. Discounts come in many shapes and sizes, 20% off, buy one get one, $20 off, and so on. But a discount by itself is not a good offer. In fact, a heavy discount is one of the worst offers you can make online because these don't usually bring in high quality, high value customers. However, in the case of software and services, free trials are almost expected. To make a high converting offer, you must start thinking in terms of value, the value that you're providing to your consumer in exchange for their money. Let me illustrate this with one of the greatest offers ever made in the history of commerce. Amazon Prime. If you're a regular Amazon customer, you'll probably remember this offer. Get your package delivered in 1 day for free by signing up for a free trial of Amazon Prime. Saying yes was probably a no-brainer because you were already buying something you wanted. So, the offer was perfectly timed. Apart from that, this offer gave you tremendous value. Not only would you get your package sooner, you'd also gain access to thousands of movies, games, books, and TV shows. The price was also a no-brainer. Try it for free and continue for $14.99 a month. That's a frictionless price that most of us are willing to pay for such immense value. This offer was also risk-free because you could try it for a month and cancel at any time if you didn't like Prime. So, in short, the huge value being added at the perfect timing and with such a frictionless price made this offer a no-brainer offer. In the words of the Godfather himself, an offer that's extremely hard to refuse. Let's review the elements that make the Amazon Prime offer so irresistible. 1. It's made on a timely manner, just as you're checking out on Amazon. It's easy. All it takes is one button click. 2. It offers huge value. Free shipping, a gigantic catalog of movies, TV shows, music for streaming, unlimited Kindle books, and more. That's insane value. 3. It has frictionless pricing. Try it for free and continue for just $14.99 a month. And lastly, the offer is risk-free. You could try it and cancel at any time. Shortcut 2. Let's go back to the stages of awareness for a minute. The same as your headline, your offer must be tailored to your prospect's stage of awareness. For cold and warm traffic, focus on providing extreme value at a frictionless price and reducing risk. Free trials for SaaS or entry-level bundle for consumer packaged goods would make great offers. For services, you can consider free consultations, trials, or reports. For hot and smoking hot traffic, the goal is to maximize lifetime value, sell more products, sell a subscription, leverage loyalty, and word of mouth. In Shortcut 3, I will teach you how to make offers for cold traffic. The cold traffic offer is the most important offer in your funnel. It determines your customer cost of acquisition. Your cold traffic offer should be so good that only a lunatic would refuse to buy. Just like Amazon Prime. A super high converting cold traffic offer has 3 main elements. 1. It offers huge value. 2. It has frictionless pricing. And 3. It's risk-free. I'll explain the 3 elements that make up a strong cold traffic offer. The first one is making huge value offers. Your offer must provide tremendous value to your customer, but it also has to make sense for your business. Free doesn't make sense for any business that's not a charity, unless you're a software company or a service provider. Here's an example of a high value offer. Let's say we're a protein bar company targeting women from 20 to 35 years old. A weak offer would be offering 20% off a 12-pack that normally goes for $29.99. The first offer is going to be completely ignorable by a potential first-time customer. They simply don't know our brand well enough to commit to a 12-pack. Also, what if they buy 12 bars of a flavor they don't like? It's just a bad offer that anyone can refuse in terms of value. A strong offer, on the other hand, would be offering a sample pack of 4 flavors for $9.99 or $14.99. Keep in mind that pricing should always be tested. Why is the second offer more valuable despite the higher price per bar? Because in the second offer, we're selling an experience. The customer is trying a new product that addresses a core desire and can be potentially life-changing. And they get to try many different flavors in the process. The second offer also makes more sense for a protein bar company because this newly acquired customer will be much more likely to place a fully priced order of the flavor they like the most in the future, maximizing our lifetime value. So, you should always consider which offer is the most exciting and provides the biggest amount of value to your customers and your business. Frictionless pricing. The most frictionless price of all is free, but you don't want to do this unless you're a software company. You should try to price your initial offering as low as possible though. This will depend on your business. Your lowest possible price could be $9.99, $900, or $9,000. It will all depend on your particular situation and your product or service. However, the frictionless pricing approach helps overcome the natural reluctance people have to spending money. The main objective when acquiring new customers is not to generate a huge profit, but to attract recurrent paying customers. Once you gain a customer, you can maximize their lifetime value. I'll give you some pricing guidelines on the next few slides. So, if you're a consumer goods company, either CPG or any physical product that's not 80% margin, then I suggest that you avoid free at all costs. I would avoid anything lower than $19.99 because you don't want to attract low-value customers. If you're in CPG, my recommendation is to sell a variety pack or bundle of your best products for a round price that's easy on the eyes, such as $19.99, $29.99, $49.99, $99.99, $149.99, etc. Do what makes more sense for your own unit economics. If you're a software company or an app, then a free trial is almost required to compete in today's landscape. Those are the market dynamics. So yeah, you don't have many options here. If you're offering services, then a free short call or initial consultation can help, but always keep up with your industry's market dynamics. For example, I don't think that there are many digital marketing agencies doing paid initial consultations. However, that is the norm when selling legal services. Make your offer risk-free with powerful guarantees. 1. A strong guarantee should be unconditional. You should be willing to refund your customer for any reason. 2. A risk-free guarantee should offer 100% of your customer's money back. 3. A risk-free guarantee is not limited to a certain number of days, such as 30 or 60 days. People generally decide if they're going to ask for a refund the moment they buy your stuff, so don't miss out on potential high-value buyers by limiting your refund window. It has also been proven that indefinite guarantee windows can actually lower the overall refund rate. 4. Your guarantee should be extremely clear and specific. Don't say 100% satisfaction guarantee. Instead, say something like this. If you're not satisfied with our product for any reason, simply email us at refunds@brand.com and we'll refund your money immediately. This quick checklist will help you make sure that your offer is indeed a no-brainer. Does it have frictionless pricing? Is there a risk-free guarantee in place? Does it offer huge value? And lastly, but most importantly, is this offer irresistible to yourself? Here's a very powerful question you can ask yourself when reviewing your offer. Would I personally stop everything that I'm doing to get this offer right now at this moment? If the answer is no, then this offer isn't really a no-brainer offer yet, because your prospect is very likely to answer it in the same way. Here are some additional offer reinforcements you can use to make your offer even better. Consider payment plans. This is pretty easy nowadays with services such as Apple Pay and Klarna. Make your offer easy to get. Make your offer easy to act upon. Reduce the number of clicks, make the navigation easy, and reduce the number of screens. Delay is the enemy of all sales, so remove all unnecessary steps from your buying process. Use scarcity, but only if it's true, and use limited time premiums. Can you throw in a free gift in there to sweeten the deal? We've now reached the end of the last conversion activator, the offer. Congratulations for making it this far. Please review this action checklist. Before proceeding with the next section, let's do a quick recap of the 4 conversion activators. Please download the PDF at the end of this section when prompted. I'm going to go through the next slides quickly, so feel free to pause the video if you want to review an activator in particular.